A single moment can tell us so much. S wake is peak. I keep being told this is peak. No, this is peak, but S wake is peak to what I have seen. I don't think I've ever been truly satisfied with a moment in Homestuck. There's always something a little more that could have happened. But with S wake, I felt like the ending with Tavros and Vriska was perfect. Tavros finally confronts Vriska. Tavros stops being a passenger in the story. He actually does something. He takes action. And Vriska, for just a moment, stops smiling. She makes a face of disgust. This is such a decisive moment from this epic. I've been asked by my chat many times to give my thoughts more, so here I am, about to talk about Tavros and Vriska being two sides of the same coin. These two have been deeply connected from the start. It's more than just, oh, Vriska bullies this kid, almost killed this kid, torments this kid. We should pity Tavros and hate Vriska. Both of them are hiding from themselves. They are both controlled by fear. Seeing Vriska as the villain and Tavros as the victim isn't wrong. In fact, it's very accurate. I'm not saying Vriska deserves a redemption arc. Vriska and Tavros are reflections of each other. Both act in bad faith, and both evade their responsibilities. Vriska takes control and tries to force agency onto others. She mentions that certain things need to happen, otherwise they'd be in a doomed timeline. So she gives up her freedom. She believes she must act this way, that she doesn't have a choice. She's trapped in what she considers to be her concept of fate. Tavros, on the other hand, hides from his freedom in a more straightforwardly manner. Tavros hides behind helplessness. He never takes agency. Instead, he uses his issues and self-pity to justify inaction. Believing he's too weak, unlucky, or even unworthy becomes his excuse to avoid responsibility for choice. Both Vriska and Tavros are defined by fear. Tavros could easily be one of the strongest characters we've met. I'd even argue the strongest. He has the ability to control animals and Luci? We see him control something stronger than everything we've met, besides maybe the old gods and Jack Noir. The power he has shows his potential, but his power means absolutely nothing without the will to use it. Tavros uses fear as a reason to think he can't, but it's not that he can't, it's that he won't. Tavros was a pathetic character who dreamed of being heroic, to the point of having an imaginary fantasy self named Rufio. Rufio is an extreme version of what Tavros wishes he could be, but Tavros never commits to becoming him. Tavros is cruel in his own way by refusing to act. He leaves everything, even his own personal choices, to others. His passivity feeds Vriska's need to control. We pity Tavros because he's kind, but we should also be frustrated with him. He could be so much more. Vriska, unlike Tavros, strips others of their agency. She wants to be the main character. She's always trying to be the center of attention one way or another, and she has to win. Vriska believes her control of others is a way to show she cares. She hurts people because, in her mind, it'll make them stronger. It'll help them grow. And it shows. She's there for them in their moments of growth. She wants to be there for the people she cares about. Her beliefs prevent her from acknowledging her own fear. Much like Tavros, she tells herself she had to. Just like Tavros, she makes up excuses for why she does what she does. Vriska wants proof that she matters. She wants to be the main character, and she'll do what she thinks she needs to do. At the end of S-Wake, when Tavros stands up to Vriska, they're both smiling, both taunting each other. What makes this moment so big for me is that it's the moment Tavros is genuinely free. He takes the agency Vriska stole from him and chooses to take her down. Throughout this story, this is the only time Tavros has been free. Tavros has been a bystander used to show how cruel Vriska is, and seeing him finally stand up, make a decision, and follow through is fantastic. I love Tavros. You should too. Vriska. This moment where Tavros confronts her makes her disgusted, or at least different. She lets down the smile we see when she's showing her love to Tavros. Early in the story, Vriska is always trying to make Tavros do things. even showing trust by asking him to kill her so she doesn't bleed to death. She didn't have to ask, she could have made him, but she chose to give Tavros a choice. She wanted to be the one to give him a chance to control his growth on her terms. Vriska seeing Tavros' choice to take her out isn't what she wanted. She wanted her fairy tale, the one she scripted. This wasn't her plan. She's disgusted that Tavros did something on his own, without her guidance. Vriska is driven by love, but she only knows how to show love through control, power, and greed. This kind of ties into something the philosopher Jean-Paul Sartre once said. Freedom is what you do with what's been done to you. Sartre called it bad faith, the habit of deceiving ourselves into believing we don't have the freedom to choose because we're afraid of the consequences. People often pretend that they must act in a certain way or that they can't act at all, but pretending not to choose is still a choice. That's why Sartre meant when he said, man is condemned to be free. You can't escape responsibility for your own action, even if you tell yourself you are forced. Vriska and Tavros both act in bad faith. Vriska says, I had to. Tavros says, I can't. Both are hiding from freedom, one by trying to control it, the other by refusing to take it. At this moment, Tavros finally becomes free, while Vriska stays a slave to fate. This is how I saw it. I wrote the first draft over my lunch break, and I've not scratched the surface on why I like both these characters so far. If you'd like to hear more of my thoughts like this, like, comment, and subscribe. And come join live to ask questions and push your favorite character propaganda. We're all guilty of some tiny bias, right? I assume many others saw this moment in a similar way. I hope I did this thing right. This is the end of the video. Bye.